All right, guys, how's it going today? So today I want to go over the Nasdaq trade that I did today, and hopefully you guys can learn something from this video and what I look for when I'm looking for trades. Right. Before I get started, though, I do actually want to point out up above here. Right. So I was looking for either to get long at 45.10 or get short at 45.75. Right. And this is something that's really important in this current environment, right? Because you don't want to just arbitrarily get long at, say, 45.40, right? Because, if you're bullish and you think it's going to go up, then, everyone has their own different style, right? But, to me, at this point, if you miss the trade, you miss the trade, right? I'd rather get a better entry, okay? It took me a long time to realize that you don't have to be in a trade all the time, and you don't have to be in a trade every day. You don't even have to be in a trade every week, honestly. I actually know a few people that they only trade 4 or 5 times a month. And, they're snipers looking for a bulletproof, lights out setup, right? And, they'll make $5,000, in those trades. If you do that 4 times a month, that's 20 G's a month. And what is that for a whole year? That's 240,000 for the year, so would you rather be in a bunch of trades throughout the year, racking up a bunch of commissions and making some, losing some because you're over trading and, you get chopped out, you get whipsawed? Or would you rather be that sniper waiting in the bushes for that bulletproof, that precise setup, right? Making a freaking killing, right? So, to me, I'd rather be that, so it took me a long time to learn that. And I'm still kind of learning it a little bit, but I wanted to kind of vent that to you guys before we get started here. So on the Nasdaq, we were looking for 14,750 for a bounce, right? And I was looking for a 50 to 100 point bounce on it, right? And we almost exactly got that. And the stop loss I was using was about 14,650. So, you want to give yourself a good amount of wiggle room when you're playing the Nasdaq, right? Because this thing swings like crazy during the day. But that was kind of the bottom range, just below the zone that I had on Nasdaq. So that's kind of why I used that stop loss. So let's go over here to Thinkorswim. And right now I have just no drawings pulled up. This is just the 3-minute chart. And when I'm scalping during the day, this is what I use, right? I look at the overall picture on the larger time frames, and then I zoom into the 2-day 3-minute chart. You always want to zoom in, start from a bigger picture and then zoom in, right? So, but right now we're zoomed into the 3-minute chart, okay? So the opening print was 14,899, right? So just about 14,900, right? And we started to sell off right away. And we sold off down to this 14,800 area. So we dropped 100 points in the first 30 minutes of the day, right? And then we got a little bit of a bounce right up just shy of that VWAP area to 14,882 area, okay? So this created a range for me that I will use in case we break out of this range, right? So we have a range here, and we have a range. So this is the upper end of that range. This is the lower end of that range, okay? Now let's pull up the drawings here. So that's where I draw my fibs, okay? Right, and so this what gave us the 1618 intraday Fibonacci extension. And look where that Fibonacci extension is, 14,729. You can see it over here on the right, okay? Look where the low of the day was. It was 14,725. So that's pretty damn precise. And this is why I love, using Fibonacci's, right? The Fibonacci retracements and extensions. So that was, another factor into my entry, right? So I took that into consideration, right? Like I normally would use that as a possible entry, right? Like we're hitting that 1618 extension from that opening range, okay? But the other thing to note here is like, okay, so here's the low. We broke the low and we're making new lows here on the chart, okay? But then you come down here and you're looking at the RSI, we're making a low here at 20, okay, at this low on the chart up above, right? Now you come over to here, the RSI is actually trending up, right? So that tells me the selling momentum is slowing down, okay? So we're getting bullish divergence here on the RSI, okay? So, here's the low here on RSI, and then here's the higher low, and it's creeping up here, right? So this is a buy signal, okay? RSI trending up while price is trending down. What is going on here? While price is trending down, okay? So you pair that with the Fibonacci extension, right? And then also we have, let me go over here. Where is the NASDAQ? Here it is. Okay, so here's the zoomed out picture, right? So before the day started, I was looking, we broke this key level right here that I have, okay? So I was looking for this zone right here for a potential bounce zone, right? This red zone right here, specifically this 14,750 area, right? And if you just go back in time, you can see price reacts to it multiple times in the past, okay? That's for another video though, right? So we've got 3 things stacking up here. That's a full stack, okay? We have larger time frame support at 14,750, okay? We have a Fibonacci extension hitting in that area, and then we also have this divergence here on the RSI, okay? So to me, that's a no-brainer on the long, right? So you take the long and you set your stop loss, and then you set your target. Okay, well, what's the target, right? So assuming this is the low, I have to redraw this, but I drew this during the day. Okay, so here's the high, here's the low, right? So we drew our Fibonacci on the day, right? So where is so you get the 50% in that 14,825 and the 618 at the 14,850 area, right? Okay, so, and where does that also coincide with? The VWAP, right? And also the 3-minute 200 period SMA, okay? And that is where your target should be, and that's where you should take profits on this long, right? Or at least scale out and move your stop loss to break even, which never was breached, right? And you see we got a rejection here from this 14,850 area down to 14,750, right? So it rejected by 100 points from there, right? So right back to where we entered essentially, but not below the low of day, okay? And then at the end of the day, it's Friday. We had this shenanigans, random pop out of nowhere, basically popped up 100 points in a matter of 9 minutes. These are 3-minute candles, right? So, if you would have stayed in the trade and moved your stop loss up to just below your break even, or your entry, you would not have been stopped out, and you would have stayed in the trade and made 100 points on it, right? If it runs even more at the end of the day, great. But at least you've locked in some profits, right? So, that's kind of one of many setups that I look for, and I just wanted to go over that here with you guys so that hopefully you can learn you know, how to be more precise with your futures trading, okay? And if you're not a futures trader, you can do this for Triple Q or SPY or honestly any other ticker that you're looking at, right? Like, it doesn't have to be just with futures. Like, this applies to Tesla, Amazon, right? But I found this to be really effective with ES and NASDAQ. And again, if you don't trade futures, you can use Triple Q or SPY, right? Look at the NQ chart, and then, you know, once NQ is hitting this area where I would go long, you would just buy Triple Q calls, or you can do Triple Q shares, T Triple Q shares. You can buy call spreads, put credit spreads, whatever the hell you want to do. Okay, there's more than one way to skin this cat. So hopefully you guys found this somewhat beneficial, and it can help your trading in some way. But the main point of this video is to point out what to look for entries, what to look for exits, and the importance of patience and waiting for the setup, right? So you shouldn't have been trading any of this, right? You should have been waiting for something to happen, right? So you're either waiting for a short for levels up here, or you're waiting for a long for levels down here, right? And you would have made 100 points on this. And if you're playing MNQ, that's $200 for every MNQ contract you're playing. Or if you're playing NQ, that's $2,000 for every contract you're playing, right? So, it's not super hard, right? You can make it as difficult as you want. Not to say trading is easy, but you should try to simplify it as much as possible, right? So keep it simple, and yeah, that's it. Hope you guys learned something, and if you have any questions, leave it in the comment section, and have a good weekend. All right.